Hello friends, welcome to part 7 of the series. In this part, we are going to learn about the useReducer hook. So what is a useReducer hook? So let me tell you what is a useReducer. useReducer hook is also used for state management. It is like the use state hooks, but as the name suggests that useReducer is something to do with reducer. Yeah, it is something to do with the reducers in Redux. So let's get started. I have already set up my environment and I'm using the old project only, so let me make it a big large. So yeah, so I've created a new component called counter1 and also included it here. And one more thing, my project is running by npm start through a terminal. So let me minimize it and counter1, let us go ahead and create this file. So like use reducer, the hook is use reducer, so we have to include it like this, use reducer, and we will have the similar concept as a reducer. So let me do that. Const initial. So I'm soon going to start a Redux series also after this hook series is complete. So those who don't know Redux, don't panic. Okay, so const const reducer equal to state comma action. So this is a function, and so it is not necessary to name it reducer, but this is how it should be done. Action, switch action, state and action, and there will be cases here. Case, again we are creating a simple counter function which have increment, decrement and reset. Increment, return state +1, case decrement, return state -1, case reset, and return initial state, which is 0. So it will return it like that. And we have to make a default case also, default, and it is return state. Okay, so this is that much. And now we have to use the use reducer hook. So but before that, let us have some button to increment, and let us have some basic like use reducer. It will get the reducer and initial state, but it is not complete. I will soon complete it. Wait, then let me have some button also. Button increment, decrement and reset. Yeah, so it is exactly like use state only. So again we are going to do array destructure in const count comma this. As with the reducer, we get access to the dispatch function. So dispatch equal to use reducer, and we are passing the reducer. This is this function and the initial state of 0. Okay, so now we want to increment it. So increment, but before increment, let us show it. So div count is count and on click equal to a function, and we will dispatch it. Dispatch and increment. So dispatch and increment, as you might have guessed, when you're dispatching this increment, it will go here to this reducer. So this is how it works, and here this action is incremented, so it will increment the state and the count will increase. So this is how reducers also work in Redux, and this is how it works here also. But in the complete Redux circle, we generally make it in different files. So that is different. There is decrement here, and there is reset here. Okay, so let me save it, and it is done. Our on click equal to reset. Why? Oh, I didn't closed it. No, it is giving me error. Okay, got it. This I have to put it here, not there. So let me save it. Yeah, so increment, yeah, it is working fine. Decrement is working fine, and reset is working fine. So this is how the basic reducers works. So now we will see another type of useReducer, so with complex state and action. So the thing is first thing which we are going to do, we will not have a 0 here. So complex state and function means the initial state, it will be an object, and the object will have first counter. Let us do one thing. Let us create it in a different file so that we can have this. So cd src components, copy counter 1 to counter 2. So I have copied it, and where it is, yeah, here it is, counter 2. So first thing to change is to make it 2. See, most of the things will be like this only, but let me save it, and we'll have an object first counter, and it will be 0. So now we have to change it here because we don't have a state available right now like this. So we have to access the first counter and state dot. So you might have seen like this in Redux also. -1 initial states, and now it is not available as count, but count dot first counter, and we cannot dispatch like this, but we have to dispatch as a type. Because again you can have it like type action dot type, and we will dispatch it like this. Type increment type increment and type reset. Let me save it, and now let me include it where it is. Yeah, let me make it 2 so that we can know that it is working. Yeah, it is this one only, and yeah, it is working fine, like what is. So why did it do this, means the complicate the logic. So it is helpful to have a different value, means we are always incrementing it by 1 so this way we can increment it by means more, means not like this, but so for that let me have another variable here, second counter 15. Let have a second count of 15, and now we have a second counter. So our state, see, this is an object, now the state got increased, so even this one so will not work like this. But let me first do that action value, because right now this is action. We can type it as action dot value. So instead of +1, what I will do, because we will pass it from here also, plus action dot value here, and action dot value here. But the thing is that it will not work because there are two states here, so we have to use the famous way which we always use in Redux, is this spread operator dot state. So whatever the state which is not changing, it will do by this, it will expand it, and then the first counter is only changing. See, suppose the second counter is not changing, so it will expand the state like this. And I want to make 2 more, as you know that this second counter is there. So let me copy this, and it will be known as increment 2 decrement 2 state. But this is not first counter, this is the second counter which starts at 15. Second counter, second counter, second counter, and second counter. Let me make it first count, second count, and now the main thing is that we have to pass a value also. Action dot type we are passing, now we have to pass a value also, because this action dot value is there. Value maybe 1, value 1. So decrement will do the, but we can even use this like increment 10, decrement 10, 10, 10, and okay, and let us do this much now. Okay, so this is done. So second count I have second counter. So am I missing something? Okay, so this is working perfectly. Okay, so let me add the second count also. After this reset, this is increment count 2 and this is 2 value 1 increment count 2 decrement count 2. Save it. Refresh it. So this is what it's look like initial, and this is a final app for this post. So this, see, both of them are separated, means increment I'm doing this, decrement I'm doing this, increment then for this only, for the first count only, and this is how the second count works. This is how the second count works, and I will reset. So it will reset both because the initial state is for both of them. Okay, so this complete the part 7 of the series. Hope you learned the use reducer hook, which is not been covered in most of the tutorial. So I will see you soon in the next part.